Houston and Kansas City. Houston's going to win this football game. Houston's going to win this football game, guys. Buffalo-Cincinnati is going to be a banger, dude. I pray it's a banger because I gave out Cincinnati catching 5.5 points today. A lot of people make it about Toyotathon. When does Toyotathon happen?
December.
Yeah, and that's when it's best to play your best football. It's fiesta time, boys. That means party time. We got a great slate of football this weekend. I can honestly say we got a great slate of football this weekend, and we will be previewing it. We got fucking conference championships and a bunch of good NFL games. We're not going to talk about minor league football, though. I got Dr. Fax with me. I got Cowboy. I got Macon. Beau's inside the computer. Nolan's inside the computer, and Tanner's behind the computer. What up, boys?
What up? Fiesta time. I'm ready to party.
What's good?
Let's party. What do we got first?
My name's Beau, and I like to party.
Beau, I know for a fact you don't party. I'm the only one who parties.
That's true. We don't usually break down the Monday night game on this show. I'm not doing it because it's the Eagles, but because we do have a little bit of, news that popped today with Jalen Carter. He's got multiple shoulders. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's going to be missing, a couple games probably. He had a procedure on both shoulders. Was it Nolan? Was it both shoulders?
Both shoulders, procedure on both shoulders. He's considered week to week, with the goal in all of this to be 100% for the playoffs.
And they need him because I don't love their D-tackle depth. I mean, there are going to be some guys playing in this game, and luckily it's the kind of game where maybe you can get away with it. I mean, Vidal's been very good, but with Justin Herbert, the injury news on their side, with the hand break and the repair that he underwent this week, one of the most interesting subplots of this game is going to be, hey, you're facing a Vic Fangio defense, and you and Greg Roman have to change your offense a little bit. And we talked about it last week. I mean, you saw it in the Steelers game. Aaron Rodgers not taking as many snaps from under center because of his hand. I think that's going to be the case with the Chargers. So you're going to see him out of pistol, and you're going to see him out of the gun, and we'll see how that affects the play action game. One of the things I always complain about, coincidentally, with the Eagles is I want to see more under center. For instance, guys know this on the back end, but if you're under center and you're running play action and you're running outside zone action, backers have to stand there flat-footed. They have to honor that. It's way different than the angles from out of the gun, and so I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Chargers adjust to that. I think it's going to be a low-scoring football game.
The doctor on the internet said because it was deemed a procedure, it's likely PRP injections.
We hope.
Certainly not surgeries.
We hope. Now you're talking about Jalen Carter.
Yes.
Yeah, we hope it is a PRP injection. I mean, the Herbert thing is confirmed. And the thing about the Jalen Carter thing, we didn't see him in the New York game. I think it was New York on the road, and they looked a lot worse in that football game. I mean, I think Ajomo has been their best interior defensive lineman this year.
Jordan Davis has been playing good, Chris.
He's been playing great.
Tell you.
I think Ajomo's got the splash plays to go with it, but I think Carter makes a big difference, even when you're he's not playing that well, or he didn't take a big jump this year, but his presence definitely helps. You think about from a game plan standpoint, the teams are still afraid of that guy. So I think it's going to be an interesting football game Monday night. Long way to go before that game. But again, guys like Byron Young, Ty Robinson, they got to be ready to go. They got to be ready.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm interested to see if Ty Robinson gets a lot more burn this week with this injury, because I feel like we haven't seen a ton of him. He's a rookie, and it was a healthy scratch at times, so I'm curious to see how he does. Pretty athletic dude. Haven't seen a ton of action out of him.
I don't see next year's Moro Ajomo. I don't see next year's Milton Williams on this roster.
I agree.
And this is the kind of game where you need to depend on those guys. So we'll see. But, true to form, we will stay with the Sunday games. And we voted on a Bermuda Triangle game this week, did we not? So there's one game we're going to leave off.
And the results of that game is the Jacksonville game. We're not going to talk about Jacksonville and Indianapolis.
Really?
That's the game that was agreed upon. Everybody voted. Everyone voted justice. So
hell yeah! I'm tired of hearing about the
crazy.
Jags.
That's fucked up, Nate.
We're not going to talk about the weather in that game. We're not going to talk about how Trevor Lawrence has been doing a little bit better. We're not going to talk about Josh Hines Allen.
Trevor Lawrence has been doing a little better.
That's what they say. They say, especially over the middle of the field, he's been able to settle a little bit.
Jacoby Myers effect, bro.
Exactly. But unfortunately, we can't talk about it.
We can't talk about that game.
Yep.
Okay.
Boston, Bermuda. Gone.
Let's start with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Usually we got the big three. We got the big three. There are 3 games that are being played for division leads this weekend. And one of those is Indianapolis and Jacksonville. You could imagine how that breakdown would go, but we'll start with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Nolan, you had an interesting question coming into this game. You want to ask the group?
Yeah, I think for the group, I'm curious if just as a football fan, who do you want to win the AFC North?
You're gonna call me like a homer or something because I love the Cats and I think the world of Joe Burrow, but they're just the most exciting team in that division. And they could get in. We'll talk about that in a little bit. They got a big tilt with Buffalo this weekend, but come on, facts. You can admit the playoffs would be more fun with them in over Baltimore in their current form and over the Steelers in their current form. I feel like the Bengals would be the most fun team.
What about the Browns?
You serious?
Well,
what about Myles Garrett?
No.
What if Myles Garrett ends
Aren't
up
they
at 30?
essentially mathematically eliminated?
Great.
Are
they?
Like a
I don't know
1%
if they
chance
are.
or something?
Hey,
Yeah, that's why it makes it better because that whole
the
division.
Browns
is
are not
crazy.
mathematically.
Are they out of it?
I don't
I
know.
think they're
I hadn't thought
on the
about that. That's a good
cusp.
point. I hadn't thought
I think
about the Browns.
the stars need to align for the Browns to make it in.
I'll say this in Fax's defense for that answer. The reason I posed the question is this division. I don't know if there's a team that's going to win a playoff game. So what you,
Bengals
as a
would.
football fan, what you're looking for is an elite unit that can actually make a matchup interesting. And looking at the division, I think there's 2 elite units: Browns defense, like that
Exactly.
and
Joe Burrow.
and Bengals
Joe
offense
Burrow
and the
is the other
system that
elite
is
unit.
Joe Burrow and those 2 wide
But
receivers.
you didn't hear my
outside.
wrench.
What?
Is that supposedly Deshaun Watson is back at practice?
I know, but that's kind of a disrespectful thing to point out, considering Shador's playing right now.
Absolutely, but if we're just talking about football,
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback, and
he was at one point.
He was at one point,
Yeah.
and I would be interested to see how good he maybe still is, just for the simple fact for Myles Garrett, man. For Myles Garrett.
For Myles Garrett, it would be fun to see Myles Garrett in the playoffs until because Myles Garrett's been on the field when they've played teams and lost by 20, 30 points. So it's just he can only do so much. I will say this about this division. It is the division where all 4 seats are at least a little toasty, in my opinion, or should be a little toasty. There is a scenario. Let me paint you a picture where all the coaches get replaced this year. Cleveland just finishes out the season. They fire Kevin Stefanski. Okay,
They don't make the playoffs.
doesn't matter. Make the playoffs. Don't make the playoffs. They gotta turn over a new leaf. And then you've got Pittsburgh, who, let's say Pittsburgh wins the division, right? Gets in the playoffs, loses by 35 points, which is kind of like the way their playoff appearances have gone post prime Ben Roethlisberger. Tomlin gets axed. Cincinnati, they don't get into the playoffs. However they finish this year. I think Taylor's seat has got to be a little bit hot, considering this would be 3 years in a row. And if Baltimore doesn't make the playoffs, that to me reflects very poorly on the coaching staff, because we weren't making it up coming into the season when we said, hey, this is a good roster. Now, they have holes. There are holes in this roster, one of them being pass rush. For sure, and the offensive line has kind of underperformed. But I could imagine, and it's not too far-fetched, a scenario where 2, 3, maybe 4 coaches getting replaced in this division. That's a bit of a hot take, but it's a crazy thought exercise. I don't think it's ever happened.
I think Harbaugh is probably the safest, right? I mean, he it seems to me his seat is definitely getting warmer because of exactly what you just said. I think the surprising thing, Tomlin is it seems like he is kind of slowly on his way out, man. It's what is it, 16 or 17 years in a row where he's had a winning record. He's 6-6 right now, and I don't know. Like, I thought I saw something in the media about Ben Roethlisberger kind of declaring that it might be time to move on from Tomlin, which I thought was a little bit surprising. I don't know, man. I kind of would like that situation, Chris. Like, fire all the coaches and just bring in an entirely new slate of coaches for the AFC North.
We just
let chaos reign.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Let him go.
NFL like subsidizes the process where they replace all four coaches, and I don't have like I got nothing against Tomlin other than what I see on the field right now, and everybody loves Tomlin. I kind of give you an RC take from a couple years ago where RC kind of questioned the future there for him, but he framed it as I think it might be time for like a change of scenery for him, and not in like a euphemism kind of way. Like I would love to see Tomlin somewhere else, like in a different culture, in a different organization.
Happy Valley?
Somebody floated him in Penn State.
Ben Roethlisberger floated him in Penn State.
He'd be a killer recruiter. He really would. I know it's not like the name of the game.
I don't want that
anymore. Everybody gets Air Force Ones.
Yeah, black Air Force Ones.
Come to Penn State.
Why don't you like it? Maybe navy blue Air Force Ones. Why don't you like it?
Because I think Tomlin would be a great recruiter and a great coach, and the Badgers are struggling enough in the Big Ten right now without a guy like fucking Tomlin.
Well, misery loves company.
But okay.
We have to deal with James Franklin. So you should have to deal with a big time coach.
And Reed put this in the group text the other day, but it was like they had their signing day or his press conference or something. Because today's what signing is today? When's signing day?
Yesterday.
And it was yesterday, and he had his
Wednesday for the people.
He had crumble cookies.
Oh my God.
And the backstory there is that Crumble at BYU forked over a bunch of money so that the BYU coach that Penn State wanted wouldn't leave. And I think there's a scenario where like Penn State's interim stays the coach because it seems like guys up there love the guy.
Well, he is the odds-on favorite right now. To stay.
So, and the other thing when you're talking about the Steelers end of this thing, and this is Matt Williamson on Steelers Radio Network pointed this out. Last 17 games, the Steelers' record is 6-11. They have a minus 1,672 yard differential. That's the worst in the league. This year, their minus 49-point differential in the second half is worst among teams with 6 wins or more. They haven't completed a pass of 20 yards or more in a month. They're 0 for 10 in those scenarios, and under 10 plays per game of 10-plus yards on the season. That's only ahead of the Cleveland Browns. That's terrible. Also, I mean, like when you think about when you take the logo off the helmet,
which is on half of it.
When you take it off both, you just put them in a different uniform, right? And you judge the team without any confirmation bias that it is a great organization, which it is, with great ownership and a great track record. Not lately, like they are one of those teams and. This is a big spot. It feels like these are two teams that we're kind of shitting on both teams as an intro into like a division leading opportunity for both squads. But I think this is about two groups that are embarrassed and they're trying to prove they're not like what they were last year, last week, whatever it is. Baltimore ended the season last year turning the ball over. That's like kind of their MO in the playoffs. They turned it over 5 times last week. So they make all these efforts. We're not going to be that team anymore. You're coming off a game where you turn the ball over 5 times. The Ravens speed bumped the Steelers last year to end their season, right? Pittsburgh went out and invested in fixing that, right? Like stopping the run, beefing up the defense, running the credit card up. How's that going? You just gave up 250 on the ground at home. So these are two very embarrassed teams. I mean, like – and so it's kind of about, and it's cliche, but like who wants it more? This is kind of truly when you hear TJ Watt at the podium or at his locker or whatever it was, and he says, we don't have a very kick-ass team right now. Like I can see the angst in his face. Like that's just flies in the face of not only the design of the roster, but also like the tradition of playing Steelers football. And I don't think they have Harmon this week. So, some of the ways they invest in that front, they're not at full strength. Baltimore's run game's not at full strength. They're lucky in that, right? It's just one of those teams like this is that division that you're like, all right, who's got to win it? Like who, somebody's got to win it.
And you talked about how the teams are trying to get rid of their last year's, what they were last year. Let me read you 2 quarterback numbers from 2 different seasons, 2 different quarterbacks through 11 games. Both had a 6-5 record. Quarterback number 1, 65.2% completion percentage, 2,086 yards, 19 touchdowns, 7 picks, 95.4 passer rating. Quarterback number 2, 63.7 passing completion rate, 2,482 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 95.6 passer rating. That is Russell Wilson from 2024 and Aaron Rodgers in 2025.
So
not all that different.
They're not all that different.
Yeah.
It just kind of
Spider-Man
feels like
meme.
whoever you play at quarterback, you're getting kind of the same result. I think what's interesting this week is you look back at last week, and I went through looking at RPOs, and because I think you're going to have a hard time running outside zone against the Ravens if you're Pittsburgh. And I kind of like Pittsburgh in this game. They're catching 5.5 points. One of the reasons I kind of like Pittsburgh is I don't know what Lamar Jackson, where he is physically. That's a huge part of everything they do. And we've seen it on display all year long. Last week, Cincinnati, and obviously Cincinnati has different resources outside that make you think about things differently. But the RPOs, they dictated in some spots, walking Kyle Hamilton out in the slot and just keeping him out of the picture. And I think that's the whole key to this game is how do you work around Kyle Hamilton? I think if you've got certain backers in the game like Malik Harrison, it wouldn't be the worst idea to pick on a guy like that. And I think the thing Rodgers can still do is, whether it's a little glance RPO or an RPO out on the perimeter, I think you can hopefully play the numbers game with these guys. But obviously they've been a tough defense to run on, and their defense has improved a great deal since Kyle Hamilton moved into the box. So you got to work around him. That's the whole key to the game for me if you're the Steelers is what can you do to keep him out of the picture.
Part of what makes makes it tough to see a path for the Ravens moving forward too is, Lamar doesn't look like Lamar as we know him to be. And you look at the running game, the games when Lamar's been, quote unquote healthy enough to play, they posted only a 30% rushing success rate. That's pretty well below league average across the entire season. So it's not even a situation with this Ravens offense where you're like, hey, our defense, maybe if they can play well, we can be one-dimensional. And they're not even run the ball
which tells you a lot, Noel. And I think this is an interesting conversation because when Derrick Henry got to Baltimore, everybody's like, whoa, superpower. Derrick Henry's the straw that stirs the drink. And, yeah, at least partially so he is. But, when you have a quarterback that can hurt you on the edge on these read options and the pull plays, teams now are kind of just letting him take the ball and saying, hey, well, go ahead, run it 10, 15 times a game. We're going to crash hard on Derrick Henry, and we're going to make you get the corner. And the more times he has the ball in his hand, it's kind of like if I'm a D coordinator now, I'm kind of like, okay, let's let Lamar run the football. He has not been the same player with his legs this year. And I pointed out early in the season, suspecting that maybe he was dinged. I'm not sure that these injuries are the injuries that are lingering all season long. I'm not sure if he's just lost a step because he's older. And some people are like, well, he's only, 29 years old or 28. Something? And, it doesn't sound like an old man by any stretch of the imagination. But as you get older in the NFL, there are these ledges and, they exist. And especially if you're a super athletic guy who's really rolling, that little bit of a drop off can make a difference and kind of change the whole deal.
The first 7 years of his career, he led all quarterbacks on design runs with 104 missed tackles. He does not have one single missed tackle this season.
That's what we see, dude. All the way back to the Detroit game where I can remember pointing out certain guys that had no business getting him down in the open field.
And 107 more hits than any other quarterback since 2019.
And okay, so look at the Eagles. The Eagles are running Jalen Hurts less. That's one thing I think they have to do more down the stretch and just burn the ships and, results be damned. I don't know that they feel like they can do that with Lamar because of his health. And so I don't know. We'll see. The other thing that came out of this is the Mark Andrews contract. That was a little bit curious for a lot of people because he's probably not the same player he was. I mean, that's almost certainly the case. which means that Isaiah Likely is probably going to hit free agency.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it is wild.
Well, so you saw that game the other night. You saw him go for, 85 yards, and I know he fumbled at the goal line. But does he not give you much more in the passing game than Mark Andrews, than an aging Mark Andrews?
I think he does, but I think maybe it says something about where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably cheaper to be a smash mouth football team than it is to be, a high flying football team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his market is going to be very good. I saw some people tweeting today about all the destinations he could end up at, and
Josh Allen better get him.
That would be. I mean, if he had 3 tight ends on there, you could run like a 3 tight end set.
They need something.
You could run 3 tight ends with Kincaid, the young guy Hawes who can block his ass off, and you could split Likely out and do all types of shit. But I don't know that it's. I saw New England brought up because
New England. I was about to say
Massachusetts. So I also think like the Chargers absolutely could use a dynamic tight end. There's a lot of teams that could use a dynamic tight end. KC, sure, yeah, absolutely, because
don't go there.
It might be the end of an era's.
That's right. Very good.
Oh,
nice. So, anyways, you got it, Nate. You know what I'm saying? Listen, a little T Swift. As the football season rolls on, BetMGM continues to have you covered. It's giving you another chance at first touchdown scores. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your first touchdown scorer ends up scoring second instead. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you cash your bet. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT to enjoy up to a $1,500 new player offer on your first wager. BetMGM, make it legendary. Chicago at Green Bay. Listen, I love Green Bay in this spot. I did like Chicago in the spot last week. And that kind of, like, I was a little bit nervous about Philly last week. And that kind of, the run game, perfect example. And you can bet you're going to see a lot of run game in this game. You're going to see Chicago trying the gap scheme stuff. Listen, if a team plays zone defense, the way I look at it, that's a great time for gap scheme. When you're running gap scheme, you look at the field, you cut it in half. It's a numbers game. Okay, you're going to bring a puller over here, create a new gap, outnumber a group. Because when you're in zone coverage, guys have zone eyes. They're sitting there in their zones. When you're in man coverage, people follow their keys and that sort of thing. I feel like this is the kind of game where they're going to hammer the football on the ground, hoping to keep Caleb clean. That's like, because I look at Chicago, and they haven't been made to pay for it in a big spot yet, I don't think. But the left tackle is a bit of a liability. And in a game like this, I can imagine that's where Michael wants to park his Ferrari, which is good for him because they've had to move him around a bunch, and I've been a big proponent of him kind of staying in one place. I think that'd be a good place for him to camp out. But the escape routes with Caleb Williams, like that to me, when they do drop back to pass and they don't roll him out, which I would imagine they do roll him out a bunch this week, and they move the pocket and that sort of thing, try to slow the rush down. He has been fantastic this year at avoiding sacks and not avoiding pressures. He's been pressured a lot. Doesn't allow pressures to turn into sacks, which was not the case last year. Okay, 28% pressures turned into sacks last year, 12% this year. So that's a big difference in the rate with which the pressures are getting home. And the one thing, if I was Green Bay, I'd be watching intently his escape plan. Like Caleb Williams has one of the most unique pocket kind of movement. If you were to look at his pocket movement, the way they look at wide receivers and all the routes they run, it would look a lot different than almost any quarterback in the league. Like, he has a very unique way. As an edge rusher watching him play, you really have to come in there and almost slow down, because he can kind of Mahomes you and drift back to 8-10 yards. He can flip that left shoulder and he's got you out leveraged. He can climb the pocket. You really have to be careful with him. So I think that's the big thing for me. Like, can you stop the gap scheme run stuff? And And can you get him down when you get pressure on him? They're absolutely going to get pressure on him. And if I'm Chicago, I take advantage of how aggressive these corners are. Guys like Valentine for Green Bay. You saw back in like the Philly game. You know, he's a guy that likes to jump these routes outside the numbers, like maybe some double moves, that sort of thing. I think this game's going to be a lot of fun. And I do think with Jaden Reed coming back for the Packers, you're going to see them at closer to full strength than they've been all year, even without Tucker Kraft.
Christian Watson's made a big difference for Jordan Love during Toyotathon.
That has to happen, and this is Toyotathon. I'm glad you brought that up. Jordan Love has been nails in Toyotathon. There's all sorts of and for people that don't know what Toyotathon is, welcome to the club. But Jordan Love during Toyotathon, 91.9 passing grade. That's first in the NFL. 4,005 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, 1 interception, 31 deep completions. First in the NFL. Here's the lead. A lot of people make it about Toyotathon. When does Toyotathon happen?
December.
Yeah, and that's when it's best to play your best football. You think about the way the Packers looked 2 years ago. I thought Jordan Love had a poor year last year relative to the expectations. They slide in as a 7 seed. They lose to Philly in like a 22-10 ball game. You can almost throw that year out the window. I know some people say, well, that's not fair, but I just know who the player is. And, you look back to what they did in the playoffs 2 years ago. I mean, they were on the doorstep of making a deep, deep run. I mean, they beat the brakes off the Cowboys, and then they end up damn near beating San Francisco in San Francisco in a game that they ran the football, really put together a great game plan. I think Jordan Love's fantastic, and I think this is the kind of game, especially Chicago's corners have played well considering everything that's happened. They've got guys making big plays on the ball. Obviously, Byard's one of them. Byard's not a corner, but a guy in the secondary for you that's just been so ball aware. It's almost like he always knows where quarterbacks' kind of panic throws go. Now, he makes a lot of plays on balls that just shouldn't ever come out, and he knows right where he needs to be. He's a really heady player, and a guy they've gotten a lot out of, man. A lot out of for a guy that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, we were like, oh yeah, he's done.
He was on his way out.
He was on his way out.
6 picks, leads the NFL this season with 6 interceptions.
You got to be careful blitzing Jordan Love, man. Jordan Love handled the blitz. So this is a group that you got to get pass rush. And that's a Montez Sweat thing, man. It kind of comes down. They don't have a bunch of guys to get pressure. I think Dennis Allen's done a great job. But if I'm going off of what I saw last week from the Packers, they are rounding into form, and I cannot wait to see Jaden Reed out on the field and the improved confidence that Christian Watson has and the whole thing. And I don't mean to write the Bears off. I think the Bears deserve a lot of credit, and they're going to get 2 shots at these guys down the stretch here. But I just feel like this week is a Packers week. I do.
I'm pulling for the Bears, Chris. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but the matchup to me is Ben Johnson and Halfley, from the Green Bay. Dude, the creativeness that they have in their run game, even though it's like the same shit that you see every week, duo, outside zone, but the way they use their tight ends and like motion pre-snap, as a nose guard, I really respect it. They're really just forcing DBs to really tackle. And that's all. Like when you run duo, that's all it is getting your running back to cut back against a DB who doesn't want to tackle. And when it's late in the season, like December in Green Bay, I wouldn't be surprised to see him run duo 22 times again or whatever they did on Black Friday.
Yeah.
And then again, you talked about Micah Parsons. Obviously, he's a fucking stud for Green Bay. Very good way to slow him down is to just run the fucking ball at him all day. So I don't know. I think this is going to be one of those games where it's like the Bears win it fucking 19-16 or something strange.
Wow.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm feeling.
Oh no, I'm feeling. I think you're gonna have to score more than that to keep up with Green Bay this weekend. That's just my opinion. Now, Green Bay's got to run the damn ball. That's something that they haven't done with consistency all this year. The other thing I wanted to mention was, avoiding the turnovers, because I kind of touched on it with Byard in this group. Like, these guys have been ball hawks, so you got to avoid the turnovers. You gotta be physical in the run game. I think here are 2 really interesting things. Okay, the first thing is the Detroit matchup for Green Bay. Where did Detroit get a lot worse this year? Interior offensive line.
Interior offensive line.
Mhm.
Interior offensive line. We called it in the fucking preseason, and look how it manifested on the field.
Interior of the offensive line.
That's right. And where has Chicago gotten a lot better?
Defensive
Interior
line.
offensive line.
Interior offensive line.
Interior of the offensive
You
line.
got it.
Yeah.
You got it. So I just think it's an interesting deal. That when the Packers play the Lions, it's kind of like the shift for me is now when I watch the Packers and Lions play, I'm watching those three guys inside. Now I'm watching the left tackle. And so not to single a guy out, but that's kind of where I look to get my pressure and I do think this is going to be spicy. Okay, this is Ben Johnson. I wanted to stay in this division, said Johnson, the former Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. This is the toughest division in football right now. There's 3 teams that made the playoffs this year. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for the coaches and players in this league, having competed against them for the last 6 years, Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell. And you're talking about 2 guys that are up for Coach of the Year awards as the season ends here. This is, of course, at the end of the year last year. And to be quite frank with you, I kind of enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. You know who Matt LaFleur doesn't like? The Detroit Lions. I can tell. I just can. When he was all pissed off at that fan down on the field, just seeing the body language on the field when they figured out the Lions were a thorn in their side. They really were. I mean, they were just. And the other thing about the Packers team that is really exciting if you're a Packers fan is what was their record in division last year? I think it was 1-5. I really do. I think it was like 1-5. This year, they're undefeated in division. So this is one of those things to me where it's like the tide can turn a great deal if the Packers make a statement over these 2 games with the Chicago Bears to end the season. Chicago Bears are building, no doubt, but the Packers have a chance to be like, okay, this is our division now for a couple of years, and I'll believe them. I really will, but they got to go out and handle their business.
It's going to be a cold one.
Low
of 4, high of 20.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Beau, remind you of Dallas a little bit.
Bro, I was just thinking about that game. That was cold, Chris. That was cold. Thankfully, we got warmed up at the bar on New Year's Eve with my family.
We did. That was a
game.
3-degree afternoon. And I remember waking up in the morning and like the worst part of it isn't even like the football game. It's waking up in the morning and looking outside and seeing like just thick steam coming off of everything and just knowing that like, and you're so warm in your bed, bro. You get your best night's sleep of the whole, and it's cold, so you're sleeping well. You get your best night's sleep of the whole week, and then you're just like, damn, in about 5 hours, I got to be out there just thumping people in this weather. These guys are going to
Chris played 60 snaps that game.
I did 60 snaps, bro.
Bo, what did Chris keep saying to you on the field? What did he keep saying?
Oh, I don't know.
Didn't you say he kept saying, why the fuck are we out here?
Yeah, why the fuck are we out here?
Why the fuck are we out here? I was like, dude, speak for yourself, man. I need these reps.
You know what's so funny about my time with the Eagles? They were always like, we don't want to play you much more. We want to take care of you because you're older. And then like they're like, hey, how about 63 plays? And
you're an important team leader for our
game.
defense, or for our offense, our entire team. You're an important leader. We're gonna have you share a locker with Elijah Qualls.
Yep.
And then also play 60 snaps in this meaningless game.
We're gonna phase you out in a year because we want to get younger, even though the guy that we're gonna replace you with gets hurt the second game of the season.
Man.
All right.
Good stuff.
I love the Birds, man. All right. So, anyways, I think this is going to be a fun football game to watch. Who gave out the pack on the gambling show?
I did.
You did. So you like the pack.
I do.
You like the pack.
Double digits.
All right. I've made a change in the rundown. I think we'll do Indy and Jacksonville.
That's
we don't have to do.
Dude,
I was expecting more from you, Pax. Like I kind of thought you'd get a little.
I'm a little sad.
That voice change.
I'm a little sad. I was supposed to be on a flight tomorrow morning to go down to this game and see it in person, but unfortunately, the whole childcare situation isn't going to work out. So, got to stay in town this weekend. But nevertheless, the Jags will still win this game. The Colts have not won in Jacksonville since 2014. It's a long time.
Can I tell you some of the names involved in this game?
Yeah.
The score was 44-17 in that game. It was Andrew Luck quarterback game. That's how long ago it is. Reggie Wayne had 62 receiving yards in that game. Reggie Wayne was out there making plays. That's how fucking long ago it's been. The average score in this football game over the past decade in Jacksonville has been like 30 to 15 Jags. So they have owned this thing. And December of 2015, that's when the streak began. And honestly, everything's fallen apart since then. So it might be the Jags' fault that, the world is the way it is.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I'm blaming the Jags.
Shad Khan.
No, but
leading rusher Ahmad Bradshaw.
Ahmad Bradshaw was on the field.
Bradshaw.
Here's why I think, okay, first off, we got to talk about Jags injuries. Noel, you got some injuries for us?
So the Jags, as of Thursday, Walker Little and safety Andrew Wingard both remain in concussion protocol. They haven't practiced this week. And then on the Colts side of it, Sauce Gardner, only player who did not practice Thursday. The team didn't place him on IR, so that's kind of optimistic for Indy fans. That means they're expecting to get him back within 4 weeks.
As long as Cam Little isn't hurt.
That's what I was going to say. Would you rather have Walker Little or Cam Little, dude?
No, as long as
when I saw Little on the injury report, I almost...
Uh-oh.
But I think this game comes out... Maybe you feel the same way, Fax, but I think this game comes down to running the football for both teams. Like, I know Jacksonville's been kind of heralded as a very good run front, and they are in spots. They're hard to get on the edges against, but I think Indy's got to get downhill. And you probably saw this last week, like early in the game against Tennessee, when Tennessee was really committed to running the football.
Yeah.
They're moving guys in the interior, and that's kind of like if the Jags have a weakness defensively, in my opinion, in the run front, it is the movement you can get on the interior. They need to help their defense out, Indy does, because it feels like their defense has been on the field for about 40 fucking minutes a game the last couple weeks. So this is going to be big for them. Take a little pressure off Daniel Jones. And then Jacksonville, you have to love the matchups you get in the run game against this kind of bottom 5 run defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the run game is very important. And then obviously the matchups in the pass game. I think the Jags are going to try to get the work on any corner not named Ward or Moore. It could be Blackman, it could be any of these guys, but I think they stay away from those guys.
I think a big Parker Washington game.
It's got to be a Parker Washington game. I think they can also attack Zaire in the pass game.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm Lou Anarumo, what I want to do is take away the quick game that's kind of that Trevor's kind of used to beat the Colts defenses of old, let's say, the Gus Bradleys of the world. He has been, and this, when Trevor's on time, it can look pretty good. So I'm going to make Trevor beat us. I'm going to load the box. I'm going to take away the quick options if I can. So that means like how you play out of bunches and stacks, how you sort things at the line of scrimmage is going to be very, very important. How you communicate if you're going to play aggressive and up on people. And then the Colts, they're going to try to get the ball to Pierce and Warren, because Pierce, to me, is going to be matched up on like your second, third corner, right? And the other thing is like Warren is one of the easy dump downs against the blitz, which I'm going to talk about in a second. This is some crazy shit. Indy needs to get the screen game going to slow this Paisan down because he's going to blitz him. Daniel Jones, with the blood in the water over the last couple of weeks, with the injury that kind of came out, the broken fibula or whatever, the fractured fibula, and the way the blitz has been working against them weeks 1 to 10. When we talked about the Colts on this show early in the season, we were like, man, Shane Steichen's given him every answer. Like, they have answers to the test, and he knows where to go with the football. And Daniel Jones is not the reason they're losing right now. He's made some really nice throws over the past couple weeks. I think sometimes, though, what doesn't show up in the stats, obviously, is the stuff you miss. And, like, Daniel Jones has missed a few opportunities that I think have hurt them. Now, the crazy thing is weeks 1 through 10 passing against the blitz, they were 4th in the league with 47% success rate. Weeks 11 through 13, and there's a bye week in there and 2 very good defensive opponents, but 31st in the league, 17% against the blitz, success rate sitting between Cleveland and Tennessee. Now, you go back to week 10, just to give you a bigger sample size, it jumps up to 27, but that's still 31st in the league. So the Colts are in the basement when it comes to handling pressure, and Jonathan Taylor has got to be big for them. I know in the past he's not been the best pass protector, but this year he's kind of improved a little bit. This is going to be a week where I think that the word is out. You know, if you bring middle pressure, especially, and edge pressure on early downs, if you can time up these boots and play action passes on early downs, like you see some teams doing that to the Colts lately, you can force a lot of incompletions, and they're not going to want to run Daniel Jones. So I think it comes down to the run game. I do, and I think it comes down to how Indy handles the blitz.
Yeah, and I think that the Jags just have to keep what they're doing on defense. I think our edge pressure with Hines Allen and Walker have been really, really good. And I feel like with someone like Daniel Jones, if he is a guy that's going to be trying to not to get off his spot to make some of these passes and these throws, we should probably have a good game just the way these guys been screaming off the edge and kind of making quarterbacks move around the pocket. So hopefully it goes well for us and Jonathan Taylor doesn't decide, hey, it clicks back in and I want to go back to scoring 3-4 touchdowns a game. Hopefully that doesn't happen this weekend.
You said the weather's going to be fucked up.
Well,
might be raining.
A little bit of rain.
Okay. Where'd you see that? On the weather?
Yeah.
Okay. That checks out. I think then it might be raining. I would say
Where'd you see that?
I would say I was leaning over. I was leaning over.
Mm-hmm.
Noel's thinking under. Noel's
too.
like, I don't know.
This just feels like
Under.
one of those like weird sloppy games to me. I don't know. Even as you look at all the matchups and everything, it's like, okay, yeah, it looks like it's Q's offense, but I don't know. To me, it just feels like some kind of slop fest. And once Fax said rain, I was like, oh hell yeah.
47.5 is a big number, especially in the rain.
It is a big
Colts
number,
have
but
not
the
been
rain
scoring
doesn't-
lately.
I just want to say something. Rain has been shown to not affect totals.
Yeah.
It's wind. Wind affects totals, not the rain. The rain, you think about it, and Macon, did you just say this, that there's rain for the defense too?
That's right.
You get guys falling down, you get explosives, you get, people's cleats aren't dug in. You have the whole conversation with the DBs, which I've seen 100 times in my life.
Makes it a lot harder to tackle a guy like Strange screaming through the middle.
Yeah.
Catching a pass.
Yeah, it makes it harder to if you're the post safety and all of a sudden you've got Jonathan Taylor running at you, like, I feel like it's hard anyways, but in the rain it might be tougher, harder to hang on to guys in the run game, like honestly when people are arm tackling, that sort of thing. So it can go either way. But I think this game's going to be fun and exciting. I don't want to tell you who I like in the game because you're going to think I just hate the Jags. I don't hate the Jags. I actually like the Jags.
Bro, you have never come on here and picked the Jags. You do this
this year. This year.
Yes.
This year.
Every single week you do this 1-2 and you say, I don't want to come on here.
Yeah.
And you find a reason to pick against
I love
them.
a good bit. Give me the Colts.
Yeah. It's fine.
That's cool.
Go
I'm
ahead.
glad you identified a
love
pattern.
it. You don't listen to numbers and history. They have not won here since 20. You don't care about that?
Well, no, but I actually look at it the other way, believe it or not.
You hate on Trevor. And you look at Trevor. How many quarterbacks have more touchdown passes than Trevor this year?
Well, then he's the.
3?
Well, you tell me. Then he
Look
must
at
be the
that.
fourth.
Top five,
Then
top
he must
five,
be the
top
fourth
five.
best quarterback in the league.
Top five.
He's a top five quarterback.
Top five.
It's your reputation, your career. You want to say he's the top 5
I'm
quarterback?
not
Go
saying
ahead.
he's the top 5 quarterback, but everyone likes to scream out stats and talk about all these quarterbacks. And when you talk about other people, it's, oh, look, he has 15 touchdowns. He's the greatest.
When's the last time I did that? I never know how many touchdowns somebody has.
I have a stat to scream out.
Yeah, go ahead, scream it. But scream it.
A stat that jumped out to me in this one is Trevor Lawrence sub 80 passer rating versus both man and zone coverage.
That's tough. He's going to see a lot of zone this
Tough
weekend.
matchup for him.
Here's the thing. I've made my take. Some people just don't like the fucking take. The take is like the coach, like the team, don't love the quarterback. If you want me to change my mind, then the quarterback should change my mind. You're not going to be able to change my mind. Call your buddy and tell him to change my mind. He's a top 5 quarterback.
I mean,
Since week 9.
Yeah, he only has
cherry
16 touchdowns.
He has the 18th
tied
most
for 18th.
touchdowns in the NFL.
Leave this in the show.
18th most.
But he's top
Since
3
I
since
always
week 9.
talk about touchdowns on this show.
18.
I couldn't tell you how many touchdowns anybody has.
I can. I got the stats right here. You want to know who the worst is? Let's find that
Sure.
out. That'll be fun. for starting. I'll find like people that have actually played reasonable amount.
Fewer
of snaps.
touchdowns than
Cam
Tua
Ward,
Tagovailoa.
7.
Bryce
Who?
Young.
Damn, he's got fewer touchdowns than my Prince.
Yes. Aaron Rodgers.
That's crazy.
He's got fewer than Caleb Williams.
We don't
as well.
look at touchdowns though.
No, I got to be honest. I'm impressed
Well-
with the way the defense has played. They played their ass off last week. Like you go back and watch that tape, they're playing with a lot of intensity. Wingard's flying around like a fucking bat out of hell.
Yeah, he is.
And they've been doing this without Trayvon Walker. So I'd love to go to the pool one day. I'd love to go to Trevor Bank. But I just you can't.
If you keep picking,
I can make you love
them,
me
If
if
you
you
keep picking
don't.
against them, I don't know if people are gonna like that.
Man, I'll do whatever I want.
And
We'll go down and see Little Duval. I think he has.
That's my dude.
That's your homeboy.
That's my dude.
He's
We'll
down.
go down there and stay at Camp Duval,
Yeah, let's do it.
and then we'll sit at the 50-yard line.
in Chris's defense, Nate, you make the Jaguars utterly unlikable.
I make him unlikable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
I can't quite put my finger on it.
Because I cheer for them. I don't get that.
That's hate.
That is so much hate because I like my team.
I agree.
They're
completely.
unlikable.
I don't like agreeing.
No,
with
I don't
Nick
think the
either.
Jags are
I agree.
dislikable. I think the Jags are so close to being like a wagon and one of the most fun teams in the league. I don't want to say it again. I don't have to say it again.
Their quarterback stinks.
No, he doesn't stink. He doesn't stink.
But I mean, I understand it.
He
Like,
doesn't stink.
you guys all feel this way because you guys are all Eagles fans, and like this is how everyone feels about your team.
Just revert
Like,
back to the
everyone-
Eagles thing.
I mean,
hold on. Let me look at my
it's
playbook.
easy.
You got a
It's
Kevin
easy.
Patullo-sized playbook on this show. You just hey, either
Oh, see,
it's either
Take
pause
shots. Everyone
or
takes shots. You take shots at your OC and all that. Like, I mean, I get it. Everyone's on top of the Eagles all the time, and your quarterback. So it's fun to jump on someone else and their
That's
quarterback.
the complete
and
opposite
make
of what is
fun.
happening, bro. Everyone is so fucking critical of the Eagles and their.
that's what we do
especially
every
their
week. We
quarterback.
criticize the Eagles.
No, yeah, and everyone's critical of Trevor every single week.
I know, but that doesn't really square with what you just said 15 seconds ago.
Okay,
You act like we meat ride the Eagles.
you do.
No, we don't.
Okay,
You know it too. Now you're being dishonest.
Nolan definitely.
Imagine if
Nolan
eight-
definitely.
Nolan
beat
doesn't
Ryan
meat ride the Eagles.
Yes, he does.
You know what he texted me after the
Yes,
game last
he
week?
does.
He said, "I'm so glad we can finally talk about the Eagles the way we should be talking about the Eagles, which is that shit is fucked up."
Oh man, Trevor Lawrence or
Yeah,
Jalen
you-
Hurts?
Nate, you're texting
Jalen
me during that
Hurts.
Eagles-Bears game, and I'm like, this is what I expect to see. This is what the team is.
Can we go to the next game?
Duval.
Might have something to do with it.
I kind of would. No, it's one of my favorite things he does with the Jags.
Man, this is gonna be fun this year in the playoffs, man.
How long do you think that fun lasts in the playoffs?
Maybe like 3.
Maybe
games.
one game.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I like it.
We're gonna win some big.
Are there any
shit.
playoff matchups you don't like? Pats.
Yeah, Pats will probably get us out of there.
Yeah.
But actually, you know what? I think Liam Cohen probably got a secret playbook for the playoffs. Just waiting.
Secret menu.
Yeah, and it's gonna be on whatever.
It's like an in and out. It's just like y'all in the playoffs.
whatever day Trevor Lawrence wants to have that day. If it lines up with the playbook,
Yeah.
we'll get the win. If not, who knows?
People are like, "Yo, Chris, you hate the Jags." I'm like, "No, I just am fighting a headwind, a Jags headwind every week." So like, I come into work and it's like, "Oh, fuck."
No, but just off the numbers, you do hate the Jags. You never pick the Jags.
Well, I
so
can't.
that means you hate.
No, I can't help. Like, I can't. Here's the thing. Like, people will be like, "Oh, you hate this team. You hate that team," and you're like, "Well,
But if you just never pick a team, that like it doesn't mean.
I don't
you
think I've
hate
never
them.
picked them this year. Have I? Have I not never picked them? I'll go back and tell you a game I like the Jags in. Let's go look at the Jags schedule.
I mean, they played the Titans last week, right?
I gave out the Titans to cover. Hold on.
I think the quote
Hold
was,
on.
I think the quote was, the Titans might win this game.
They might win this game. They might win this game. And if it wasn't for fucking Arden Key, I'll tell you where I did like the Jags. When they played the Raiders, in Vegas. I just knew they were going to get that win.
I need you to get into this.
All right, so this week we got a big five. We don't just have a big three. Jags, Duval, people. You know, it's funny. Like, people take it so personal. I'm like, the QB of the team's an important piece, is all I'm saying. Do you think they win a Super Bowl with him?
Do I think they can?
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Okay.
Anything is possible.
All right, Kevin.
That's a non-answer.
Okay. So this week we got a big five. Man,
this is just so great.
And I know there's some people.
Because you know when the Jags
I know there's
lose,
season ticket holders in Trevor Bank Stadium who, if I went down to a game there, they'd be like, "Yo, Chris, I've agreed with you the whole fucking time. I'm so happy you're here."
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they would.
No, they wouldn't. You think that?
You don't think there's a?
You
don't
should go
think
to the
there's a-
game tomorrow.
They'll be dog cussing you, bro.
Man, I know Nate Collins.
Bro, they're gonna be
They're not
dog
gonna be dog
you.
cussing me. I'm gonna be like, bro, I'm friends with Nate Collins.
You have to. Jacksonville might not seem like Florida, but you got to remember it's still Florida.
No, I know it is. It's North Florida,
And
which
we're
has got the
winning.
Georgia and the Florida.
And we're winning right now, so like,
I know.
like they really like the team.
I know, but not everybody down there likes the QB.
No, but everyone knows, and it's a realization that you have to know the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
No, it's not.
Man.
No, it's not.
Like you could be stuck with someone like Tua.
I agree.
Like it always could be.
And I sure did end up being wrong about him, didn't I? I had these same conversations. I was told I'm a hater. I hate the Dolphins. I don't hate the Dolphins. You know how much it pains me when my kid has Dolphins pajamas to be like, dude, you're not going to like those for 5 to 7 years. You're not going to be able to wear them proudly. You know, and I ended up being right. All right, Houston and Kansas City. Houston's going to win this football game. Houston's going to win this football game, guys. Josh Simmons is the reason. It was one of the main reasons. And I still maintain the Chiefs are better this year than they were last year in a lot of spots. But right now, the thing they can't have is Josh Simmons on IR. And he's on IR. He's got a wrist, and that should about do it. Because they don't have the – they just don't have the – they don't have the leeway. They can't lose anymore. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of in the Bengals position or like the Cowboys position. And honestly, we asked this question last week, like, who do you trust more to win out, the Bengals or the Chiefs? Or the Cowboys? Like, I don't know. Chiefs have won how many one-score games this year? One? Against the Colts. So I kind of worry about that. This is going to be a one-score game. Like, this is going to be a close football game. The only way it's not is if C.J. Stroud turns the ball over 2 or 3 times in this football game. That's the one concern you have. And honestly, if I'm Spags, knowing the way the Texans have to play this thing, I am comfortable making them work 3 downs at a time, which is the formula for them. Quick game, all that stuff. Set traps for C.J. Stroud. Stop the run with the light box when you can. Bring pressure when you can. But set traps for C.J. Stroud on early downs and try to take the football away. If you can make them march down the field, you know, the red zone woes were not that long ago for this team, you know, and make them earn it. That's Kansas City's hope because I have a lot of – I'm very concerned about, you know, Houston's got experience playing this team over the past couple of years, and they played them tight. And this defense is playing as well as they played in a year or two. And this is a great defense. So I just worry about the edges. I'm worried about how you keep Mahomes upright. Everything this offense does, they really have to pivot to a quick game operation. You know, they can't be back there big play hunting with Mahomes running around. And in a weird way, it's almost like you trust the Texans to operate quick game right now more than the Chiefs, man, or just as much. It's crazy, you know, as inefficient as they've been at times. So you got speed outside. You got spies that can run with him. You know, if I'm Houston, I like this matchup, and if I'm Spags, I like the matchup as well. But you're gonna have to get them to turn the ball over. So I don't know what you guys think about this game, but I do feel like it's a Houston spot.
Just to add to the injuries, Chris, you mentioned Josh Simmons on IR. Also on the offensive line, they have Juwan Taylor and Trey Smith have not practiced yet this week, so they could be down those guys too.
I just got word that during a prep call 3 weeks ago, you started the call asking if Trevor was a bust.
Say again?
Breaking news, 2 to 3 weeks ago, you guys have a prep call, and a little birdie told me that you got on the phone and started the call with, "Is Trevor a bust?"
Who told you that?
One of the people that work at this company. Was that true? Did you just fix your mouth to say all that? And you started the prep call a couple weeks ago asking if Trevor's a bust?
I just want to know if he is or not.
That's interesting.
A little old to be a bust. I think he's just bad.
That's how I feel.
That's some wild shit.
But he's in a category with a lot of quarterbacks that are like that.
I didn't call him a BUST. I don't like that word.
No, me either.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked it is because it's usually because I hear like bigger like media coverage asking that question or like trying to pick different stats or things out.
Cherry picking stats does suck.
Yeah, and I think it was something too. They did like one of those. It's always the blind stat.
Oh, I hate that shit.
And they always put it next to something with Jamarcus.
I hate that shit.
So like it's like look at the stats and they skew it.
You always know the one silhouette is Jamarcus Russell. It sucks so bad for him.
Yes, and I think it's the fact that everyone can confidently say that he's a bust. So when they do that whole like let me find the right stat that matches some of his,
I got you.
and put it together,
I got you.
they're like, oh, he's a bust, and it's just like. He's not really a bust. He's just like.
I got a stat for you: 18 for 30, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 27 to 24 final overtime victory against the Arizona Cardinals. So it was 2 weeks ago. Facts.
That was the
timelines
game.
are kind of adding up here.
That was the timeline's adding up, dude. He wasn't asking because I just wanted to pose the question. Welcome to the club, bro. Welcome to the club. You got anything on Houston, Kansas City? Now that we went it was a discovery period on comms and green light.
And you know what's gonna happen? The Jags are gonna win this weekend, and actually, I'm gonna take Kansas City to
the Chiefs.
The Chiefs to keep everyone interested for one more week, but also keep Houston where they need to be,
which is
not thinking that they're going to be able to run the tables and still get the division.
Here's the thing. They don't have to run the table. You know what I'm saying? Facts?
No, they don't for that.
They're not in like survival mode to the degree that these other teams were the Chiefs and such are. They're only a game back, bro. One of these AFC North teams, as you know, will lose this weekend. If they win and get to 8-5, they are going to be in second place.
This is actually a good time of football because, after these weeks coming up, you're going to really see guys start quitting and shit.
Yeah.
And that's always actually kind of fun, like seeing like who really doesn't give a shit.
Who wants it?
Yeah.
For me, that was October. For me, when I was a wee lad in St. Louis, that was October, bro. You know I wanted it. Couldn't always have it,
but
boy, did
like,
I want it.
I want to see a team like Kansas City. I want to see how many of those stars pop up with, "Hey, I got that season-ending calf injury or all this different stuff," because this is going to be the first time in how long?
Well, Kansas City, they're not used to repping this situation, bro.
Exactly.
That's what I always say. It's so hard.
But even for the coaches, like because when's the last time Andy Reid has to coach meaningless games and have guys want to come in and do the work and grind when it's fucking cold as shit?
It's been like a decade, bro. It's been over a decade.
Like that's like something that people don't think about, but that's hard.
Yeah.
Like you have to do that. And there's going to be a lot of guys that aren't used to it to be like, yo, I don't want to fucking work today. I'm not trying to hit today in practice. Like, we're not going to the playoffs. Like, who cares?
Well, let's not bury them. I'm not saying they can't win the game. I just think it's a Houston spot. I just do. I think the team's playing well enough that I said this last week, and I don't mean this as disrespect to CJ. I just mean because I think CJ's the future there.
Defense.
But it's about the defense. It doesn't matter if it's Davis Mills or it's just take care of the football. If you can run the ball here and there, that'd be great. And I think they're going to be able to move the football. So, anyways, that's going to be a fucking fantastic football game. I'm looking forward to that one. The other one that really I might be just as excited about this game as any game. There's 3 games that Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Chicago, Green Bay, Indy, Jacksonville. We just talked about the games with the divisional line.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, Cincinnati is going to be a banger, dude. I pray it's a banger because I gave out Cincinnati catching 5.5 points today. And I just think when I look at this matchup, and if you're Sean McDermott, like, what do you do? What do you do? And certainly, if you're Al Golden, what do you do? Because I guess you could spin the wheel and just blitz the fuck out of him like you've been doing the last couple weeks. And I would do that in a game where, like, if you don't pressure Josh Allen, you probably end up with only a couple punts in this football game. I would pressure him, and fuck it. If they beat us with a big play, they beat us with a big play. Our offense is going to go on the field and score. Like, that's the way I would look at it if I was Al Golden. But on the other side, if I'm Sean McDermott, like a couple years ago, I think they blitzed him like 35% in that game, and Burrow just torched him when they brought pressure. So I don't know what you do. Both pass rush groups are kind of anemic. Like maybe you need a big Joey Bosa rush like last week, right? Mm-hmm. And for the offensive line of the Bills, like, I thought those guys did a great job in the run game. Hopefully they get their guys back this week. Deion Dawkins is probably back, right? I don't know what the deal is with Spencer Brown.
Both Deion and Spencer Brown have been practicing, so I think they expect to have those guys.
So that's great. They'll be at full strength. I think, honestly, as weird as it sounds to say, the Bills are going to try to play keep away. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a wild thing. Dude, as bad as the Bengals are in people's heads, like, the Bills are going to try to run the ball all day.
They're going to run the fuck out of the ball.
And they're going to try to
keep the Bengals
ball
have given
Joe
up
Burrow's
153 yards per game. Like, they ran for, 250? The Bills ran for 250 last week against the most
Steelers.
expensive defense in the NFL and the Steelers.
This is one of the most inexpensive defenses in the NFL.
Seriously.
Especially with Trey Hendricks.
If you have James Cook on your fantasy team, you should be very happy. You should be fucking stoked about it. He's going to have a huge day.
Huge day. The other thing is, like, one thing is Cincinnati has young linebackers. And you talk about, what it's going to take to beat this group. Even if you drop 8 and you play zone, which, at times in the past, like, maybe that's been a good strategy for Cincinnati when they had Anarumo and they played Mahomes like a couple years. They dropped a bunch of people. It just popped into my head like that could be a strategy where you mix in some blitz and then you drop 8. Like, I would keep Josh guessing as much as I can, change the picture on him. But the problem is you've got young players that are going to give away tells with alignment, that are, when Josh breaks the pocket and he's doing this, these young backers are going to be jumping. They're going to be pulling up. They're going to be – and Kincaid's back. I just feel like it's going to take 35 points to win this game. And the over is like the total's like 53. The only way it's not going over is if the Bills do exactly what they want and possess the ball for 8-10 minutes at a time and kind of slow this ball game down. I also think, the Bengals shouldn't abandon the run game. They've gotten a lot out of the run game as the year has gone on. And last week you talked about as much RPO as they threw at those guys. I think Chase Brown out of the backfield in the passing game is a big one this game. I think it's a big one this game. You certainly look outside of the Benford-Chase matchup or the Maxwell-Hairston matchup with, and help with T. Higgins, or, if T. Higgins is not on the field, then it's, what's his name, Tinsley. If it's Tinsley, you can throw extra help over there for Benford, right? And maybe you want to do that anyways, but you got some interesting decisions to make that are going to keep the box light. And whatever decision you make, I think Chase Brown's going to factor into this game. And the Bengals have a rest advantage. So I'm not saying they win this game, but this is a must-win kind of for both teams. If the Bills want to make a run at this division, they are like, it's starting to feel like it's a little late. But they have to win this game, and then they obviously have a big tilt against New England coming up. When is that game? Is that next week?
Yep, next week.
So maybe a little look ahead, but it's hard to look ahead when you got Joe Burrow coming to town. And this team hasn't lost with Joe Burrow playing quarterback
since week 14 of last season.
And so this is going to be must-see TV, and it's a Fox game, by the way. Mm-hmm. You got Greg Olson on the call. This feels like I don't know, Jim.
Yeah.
But no, it's a Fox deal. So if you get a spy, if I had to choose the guy that I would have spying Josh Allen, it would be the young guy Knight, who sometimes can look a little lost. But if you give him something to look at, and it's that big son of a bitch in the backfield. I think he's athletic and strong enough to get him down. That's how I would play it. But
Bosa and Epinesa non-participants on Thursday.
not good. A lot. I know I gave him out, and you might not like the play, but it's hard for me to see how they don't at least get in the back door at the end of this game. Like, it's a lot of points.
Bummer for Bosa because one more sack secures him a $250,000 bonus. He's sitting at 5 sacks. He gets one more, $250K in the bank.
Damn, okay.
Well,
he just needs one more. He's got time.
There are more weeks.
There's more weeks. He's got time.
Chris, I think the point about the Bengals run game is a really big one, because I think what's interesting about this matchup is for both teams on like a macro level, they probably have the same game plan, which is the best defense we can play is possession control offense.
That's
so
right.
It's kind of a simplistic way of looking at it, but I think time of possession, we'll look at the end of the game, and that'll probably be the biggest indicator of who won the game.
And that's the situation where if both teams have really set their jaws to like run the football and possess the football and not be as aggressive, then you see your 27-24 and it's like, fuck, it's right under the total. But I think if both teams are really trying to move the ball, if both teams came out and said, let's see how much you can score on the other defenses, I think it'd be 40-39, dude. I just
Yep.
It's going to be a show, man. I can't wait to see it. Even if it's a lower scoring game, I think it's going to be great. Best game of the week, possibly. It's ironic because I think these last two games we hit that aren't big three because we had to give the divisional tilts the nods. These are the two games I can't wait to see. Best big line game. Okay, we've got a couple big line games, a touchdown or more. Seattle at Atlanta, Atlanta catching 7. You've got the Rams at the Cardinals. Rams laying 7.5 on the road. You get the Broncos at the Raiders. Broncos laying 7.5 on the road, and that's it for the big line games. I think the most interesting one is Seattle Atlanta. I can't figure this one out. I think it could be interesting for a couple of reasons. I think it could be interesting because the Falcons play up to teams. That is who they are this year. They play up. The Bucks, the Pats, the Colts, the Panthers, one-score losses in a lot of those games. Of course, you have the Bills win. And this game's going to be played at home where the pass rush is going to be hopefully on fire for their sake. And they're going to bring pressure. They're going to – what?
A row.
A row. And then the Seahawks, this is a little tidbit. I think Seahawks, 9.3 points per game, first quarter scoring at home, and 4.5 points per game, first quarter scoring on the road. Like, that's an interesting deal. You cut that in half. That's the second biggest delta in the NFL, I think, behind Arizona. So, like that to me, Seahawks going to the road, they don't get that bump from being at home. You remember last year, Seahawks didn't play so well at home. Now they're starting to really round into form, and they're jumping people at home. I think Darnold's recent struggles against middle pressure are going to show up in this game. We'll see how they manifest. I'm pretty sure Atlanta's going to check his chin. Here's why it won't be interesting. I worry Kirk Cousins doesn't make it out of the football game. Like, this is the kind of game where when Kirk's like, yeah, I'll play again this year. Like, this is – and the worst part is Drake London, I think, was a DNP. I don't know what he was today. That's a bad deal. Yep. Because the reason they've struggled so much on third down, they've been one of the worst teams in the league, I believe, on third down, is that they don't really have wide receivers outside of Drake London that have found ways to get open. That's been a very big disappointment for them. Yeah, they're 29th in the league on third down. Sandwich between, any guesses? This is going to knock your socks off. You probably know one of them. One of them's not going to surprise you.
The Birds?
You got one. The Eagles.
Steelers?
The Browns. The Eagles and the Browns. Which goes to tell you again, Eagles fans, you're like, what's wrong with the offense? Well, that's a big one. Keeping drives alive, especially when you're supposed to be a possession football team. So that's – and then the other thing is Seattle is dominant stopping outside zones. So that's going to be the key. You've got one of the best perimeter run teams in the league, at least from a personnel standpoint. You got Bijan Robinson, and you've got those scary edges for the Seattle Seahawks.
They do allow running backs to catch the ball out of the backfield, however.
Man, I wish you told me that before. I didn't have a prop earlier.
34.5 receiving yards is the number for Bajan.
So the stuff I would like if I was wagering, I kind of like the under. I gave out Seattle's under team total. I probably should have just given out the under, but I was out of side. I was out of totals. The other thing I might like is Atlanta keeping this game close in the first half because of what I told you about the way that the Seahawks have played on the road. But what do I know? I can't pick a Seattle game to save my life lately. Last week I gave out team total, just missed it. Who you like out of these big line games? Beau, any reason to watch?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the Rams playing at Arizona. I mean, despite the loss against your young prince in the Panthers last week, I feel like the Rams are still kind of the class of the NFC, and I put them up there as, I still think they're the best team in the NFL. And Stafford threw a couple picks last week. That's very atypical for him this year. I think he broke a streak of throwing at least three touchdowns and 0 interceptions. It was like 3 weeks in a row. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but really expecting a big game out of Stafford. NFC West matchup. These teams are obviously very familiar with each other. So that's kind of the biggest thing for me for this game. The Cardinals are not as good as the Rams. Just, some expert analysis for you there. But mostly just interested to see how the Rams bounce back. And I think Stafford is really going to fucking ball out. So I'm seeing them favored by 8.5. That seems pretty appropriate to me. I think they'll win by 10, honestly. So yeah, then the other game I'm curious.
And then they can retake the lead in the NFC.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I'm expecting, is them to just come out fucking no holds barred and kind of prove that last week that loss was an aberration and that they are one of the best teams in the NFL. So I'm just kind of curious to see how many points they score. I'm kind of a Rams guy this year. I really want Stafford to do it. So I'm not going to dive into too much of that. But, as far as the Cardinals go, I have been impressed with Jacoby Brissett at times. The Cardinals lost against the Bucs last week. It was actually a pretty tight game. They lost by 3 points. The Bucs haven't been doing a ton offensively lately, but I think they're going to get the shit beat out of them by the Rams. Another game, I don't know if this falls into the category of...
It does not.
Big lines. Okay. But that's the biggest one there. I just want to see Stafford continue to ball out and kind of ride off into the sunset this year.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Last week was a hiccup. They walked into a cat fight, dude. They walked into the cat's den. The other one is Broncos Raiders. Cowboy, are you worried about this game? You
4 weeks ago was a field goal game.
And every game is like a field goal game.
Well, yeah. So worried, yes. Desensitized to what is going to happen, yes.
Okay.
So I'm ready for exactly what's going to happen, which will be a field goal or less. It's much smaller than a touchdown. And on top of this, we can't clinch a playoff spot, but with a win, we can clinch the similar opponent tiebreaker over the Patriots. So that with that implication on top of
that's
everything,
huge.
Yeah, it's huge, but it's also
wild to
good
think that
fumble spot.
It's wild to think that the Patriots, who have just been the story of the NFL, lost to that fucking Raiders team
right, in week one.
It's just like, it just goes to show you that September means nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things you know, but then there's some you just don't know. So I'm sorry, we're not going to get too into that game, the Titans Browns game. That's a rock fight with QB narratives. I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they train together. The videos of them training together and they're talking shit, and Cam Waters getting on Shador's ass, being kind of like a diva, and let's just come train and get this work, bro.
I just want to see a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see a total of like 31. I gave out the under. You want to know what's grinding my gears a little bit? I keep saying I'm not going to talk about the Shador and Cleveland thing and the hype machine that's going on, but I don't care if you hype the kid. You can be as extra as you want, but don't put Cam Ward in the conversation. Like watch the games, dude. Cam Ward is a talented cat. he has some talents that Shedeur doesn't have. Shedeur could certainly develop into a pro quarterback for sure. But, like, let's not do the thing where we do the blind stat thing or the cherry picking of numbers. Like, turn the game on. The way the ball comes off that fucking guy's hand.
Against that Seahawks defense 2 weeks ago, not many other quarterbacks in the NFL played as well as he did.
He's gonna have to use them legs this week, though.
Greg Cosell talked about it this week. Greg Cosell is one of the most respected people in the business who does not give a fuck about narratives or taking a side for online clout or any of that stuff. He's 70 years old. Sorry, Greg, if you're like 65. But he's one of the biggest ball knowers in the NFL. I would put Greg Cosell on a short list.
69.
That number, there you go. That number, that show that Greg Cosell and Darius Butler are on, and Matt Bowen, NFL Matchup. It's one of the best shows on TV. So I'm just giving you some context before I say this. Go listen to what Cosell had to say. Cosell said in a very measured way, Shedeur, like a lot of young quarterbacks, is just a tick behind right now. Mm-hmm. He's just got to speed his process up. And guess what it takes? It takes reps. So I'm glad he's getting them. But his whole thing was he's just a tick slow, and some of the things that showed up in college are showing up in the pros. And nobody, I'm glad he said it, because nobody in their right mind is going to call Greg Cosell a hater. He's not a hater, dude. He's just telling the truth. And so I expect a low total game. I expect the Browns to win this game. I do. I expect Myles Garrett to break the sack record this weekend.
That's what I was going to say. 19,
there's a lot
I'm
watching in this game.
Yeah, J.C. Latham. Like, talking about the quarterback narratives, that's all well and good, but, like, this is a D-line pod. You know what I mean, boys?
No
Myles
question.
Garrett has 19 sacks, and the way J.C. Latham played last week, he's kind of a heavy-handed puncher. Like, Myles Garrett is one of those rushers where he has everything in the bag, but he rushes especially well against guys like that. So I'm absolutely stoked to watch him this week. I mean, he could get 3 or 4 of them things and ride off into the sunset. I'm excited for Myles Garrett. Man.
I think
that, to me, is the biggest narrative.
I think Myles Garrett is going to sack poor Cam Ward with Dan Moore's body.
Yeah.
That will happen once on Sunday.
The Titans have allowed a league-leading 48 sacks this season. And Ward has 10 games this season in which he's been sacked at least 3 times, trailing only Warren Moon, who set the record with 11 games in 1984.
Yeah. No, it's anybody that thinks Cam Ward, like, I saw it had to be like a troll tweet or like some bad rumor today, but there was like this Polymarket Football, which I think might be just are they like what are they? They're unserious?
I think they might be.
They're unserious. But there are people that really, there's a narrative going on around the country. It's mostly people that breathe out of their mouth, which actually I'm included in that subset of the population. I have a deviated septum confirmed, and I'm going to get it fixed.
Oh.
I can't breathe through my nose.
When did you get this checked out?
A couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's blocked. I have breathing problems. But I know Cam Ward's not a bad football player. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that think Cam Ward sucks because they don't watch Tennessee games.
Was the Polymarket tweet their pinned tweet that says the Titans have reportedly not ruled out selecting a quarterback this upcoming draft?
Okay, cool. Yeah, do that, Tennessee. Do that. That'll be good. It's kind of like the blind comparison of Will Levis and Cam Ward stats. Then go for it. Why don't you just trade Cam Ward and ride it out with Will Levis? Cam Ward's going to be fine, dude. He's going to be fine. They don't fuck it up.
2 of the 3 most popular punters this week.
Yeah.
Corey Bojorquez and Johnny Hecker.
Our boy, Johnny Hecker. Okay, so those are the games. Warning, this product contains nicotine, nicotine is an addictive chemical. Underage sale prohibited. Please, if you are under 21, just don't, dude. Just do all the other cool shit that you can do when you're a young person. You know, go outside. Play.
Say 6'7".
It's a wild deal. Yeah. Wait, if you're like 16, wait another 6 or 7 years, kids. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all know I'm a bit more selective of my nicotine pouches these days. I actually quit dip because this was helping me quit chewing tobacco, which I've done for a long time, bad habit. And for me, the quality of the pouch is what I prioritize. I only need one a day. I do Zone Wintergreen. It helps me get going when I'm watching a bunch of tape, or if we're out on the river, Cowboy, enjoying some of the scenic James River. It might be a good time to throw a pillow in. But Zone gets me locked in with its smooth feel and variety of flavors. Zone is always on our game day roster. Whether you like fresh mint flavor, you're into citrus flavor, check out their roster of options. Use promo code GL20 at nicokick.com/zone for 20% off at checkout.
The Bermuda Triangle, where football games disappear.
I don't know, Jim. This one might disappear.
This week in the Bermuda Triangle, I am calling out Aaron Glenn. I know you don't want to be here, but it's going to make your team better. The high winds, the big swells, the yearly Week 14 matchup with the Miami Dolphins, the lowly Miami Dolphins, who are 5-7. You're 3-9, but you're actually 3-2 in your last 5. The other thing that's crazy about this fucking game is Week 14 last year, Dolphins played the Jets. Dolphins 5-7. Dolphins 5-7, Jets 3-9, just like it is this year. I need you to do me a solid, Aaron. I need you to end this long national nightmare. I've been going back and forth with the Miami Dolphins for how many years now, Reed?
5.
5 years.
5.
It's like a fucking it's an eighth of my life. A long time when you think about it. So we got this Highlander beef, and I need you to go beat the Dolphins. My kid likes the Dolphins. Waylon likes the Dolphins. You know that. You know he has Dolphins PJs. It's cute as fuck when he puts them on, and he's got his whole Dolphins outfit on, but I have to tell him the team sucks. And he wanted to go to a game with Meg, real, like, true story. But I told him that they couldn't go because it was unsafe, which is a lie. It's a really lovely stadium. It really is.
They just built a canopy.
It's a nice stadium. But seriously, my wife was like, and if she's watching this, she's going to be like, you motherfucker. Because I was like, man, I just don't feel comfortable with you and Waylon at a NFL football game without me. And then she wanted to take him to an Eagles-Commanders game at that shithole of a stadium. And I was like, absolutely not. There's like rebar. Right? Like, I'm not lying this time. But it is a lovely stadium. I don't want my son to have to deal with being a Dolphins fan until he's like out of high school and they're still toiling in the aftermath of a bad quarterback contract. So I'm doing him a solid. You need to do me a solid. You need to take care of this team. You need to bury this team. And you're facing Anthony Weaver, who's one of the best D coordinators in the league. And after the game, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go down to Slattery's on 36th. Roll down the window. I know it might be cold, but roll down the window in whatever nice fucking car you drive. Put your elbow out the side and, like, drive real slow by it, because that's the Dolphins bar in New York, and you got to pull a Mike McDaniel on the Dolphins. Slattery's on 36. Please go by there after you beat the Dolphins 17-9. The other games that we're supposed to talk about, and I'll just throw them all in the Bermuda Triangle. Saints, Bucks. Beau, I'll give you 15 seconds. Tell me what you think. I don't have ears.
I got 2 seconds for you, Chris, and 2 words. Go Bucks.
Back to you, Chris.
It's raining! I'm at the wrong airport. Commanders, Vikings. Big news, quarterback coming back in this game. In there. J.J. McCarthy. Can't wait for this one to cash. I bet the Vikings already. I'm not gonna watch it. And then Saints and Bucks. Man, is that ball game's being played in Tampa? Yeah, in front of a pirate ship.
One of the two. Yep.
Yeah. Well, no. If it was in New Orleans, like, I'd rather.
Oh,
What?
Bourbon Street versus Ybor Street.
No, I'm saying the viewing experience of a Saints.
There's
Bucks
hurricanes
game
in Tampa too,
in
Chris.
the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Is he talking? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, he said there's hurricanes in Tampa though, Chris.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah. This game's gonna suck, and as much as I would love to watch Tyler Shuck play, because I think I'm like this. The take this week, I want to be in the fucking Tyler Shuck fan club. Like I want to be in 2-3 years. I want to be like, oh yeah, I had that album like a long time. I had their first album about Tyler Shuck because I think he's gonna be good, and I want to join the Hive. But if he absolutely shits the bed this weekend, I will not join the Hive. Just want to be on record and saying that. He's got one opportunity, and I will join whatever the buy-in is.
Headlines.
What?
Aw, shucks.
Wow.
Or aw, shucks. It's a win.
No, I actually can't see it in the papers. At first, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then it hit me. He's talking about a newspaper. So, I don't know. These games kind of suck.
Get
That's
him
why
out
they're
of
here.
there. Get him out of there. Get him out of there.
What do you say?
We're trying to save you. He wants us to save you.
He's lost. He can't find his way out. Go get him.
Oh, Coast Guard's coming.
So now that we've recovered you from the Bermuda Triangle, let's hit a bit of a mailbag. We solicited some questions, and you all answered. Thank you to the Greenlight Locals. First question from Jimmy Wilhelm is, do you have a worse flight from your career?
Flying back from Tanzania. You know, like when you come back. Remember how anxious you were when we got off the thing?
Yeah, off the mountain. Of course,
dude.
I was happy to be alive, actually.
But also
I
you're
was
so
stressed.
tired and anxious, and I took way too much of an edible, and I got super high and had like 5 panic attacks going over like the Horn of Africa. It's like pitch black out, and I'm just thinking to myself like,
Flying by the mountain, you're like, oh, we
we
were just on that.
and survive. I'm thinking about animals and shit. Like I'm having a bad one, and I go to sleep for a while. I order a glass of whiskey. I have to like chug whiskey. I go to sleep for a while, and I'm in like the pods, and there's a woman in the pod like 2 feet away. It's pretty well partitioned off or whatever. And I had like Johnny Walker, and I fall asleep. I wake up and like I have like a startle, and the glass goes in the air and lands on the woman, and like my Johnny Walker is spilled all over this woman, and she's still asleep.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, honest mistake. No. So I sat there for a while, like a minute or two, and like thought about it, and I woke her up, and I said, a little of my drink spilled on you, and I can smell it, dude. And she didn't say a fucking word. And she picked up her blanket and like hit the flight attendant button and went back to sleep. She was European. Not happy to see me, bro. Yeah, it was a bad one.
I forget when it was, but I was on a connecting flight. I was coming back to Charlottesville for, I forget what. This is while I was playing in the league, and had that small connector flight from Charlotte to Charlottesville.
Oh, I hate those fucking things, man.
For whatever reason, the plane that we were in, the air did not work. So I sweated profusely for 37 minutes for this flight onto this person next to me.
Yeah.
Just trying to like wipe sweat and keep, but it was just that like I was
Dead of summer?
Everyone, yeah.
Oh God.
Everyone
I wouldn't take
sweating.
off. I wouldn't take off.
And like the air was blowing, but it was just like the air. It wasn't cold air. Like there was something wrong with the AC, and I was like, this is miserable. But it was only a under 40-minute flight. So
Thank God, dude.
yeah, exactly.
Fuck. That's the type of thing the pilot has to come back out and apologize to you guys and like go viral for being cool. Yeah. Like you better show up on a fucking Instagram reel to save that flight, dude. Or give everybody their tickets back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, one time I had to take a huge shit.
in the bathroom.
Yeah, and that's something I don't like doing.
That's my biggest fear. I would never. That is my. I plan my
'Cause we're
entire
we're way
week
too
around
big.
not having that happen.
No, it's just
way too
as
big.
soon as there's a smell on the plane, and this is the tough thing about being a big guy. Like, it's great being big everywhere, but on an airplane,
Yeah.
it really is. Or like on a horse, like like if you were a jockey, it'd be bad. But being on an airplane is the worst because every time there's a fart smell, everybody knows it's you, Beau. Like 200%, and it could not be you, But like, if it was a game of like, who is it? It's always the big guy, and then people don't respect our space, and we can't fit in fucking normal seats. You gotta get the exit row. So I don't know. Sucks to be big. That's my TED talk.
Making any bad flights?
Who you calling?
Mason.
Hey, man, would you mind recounting the story of that flight back from St. Louis?
The only plane that I've ever been on that I wished crashed immediately into the nearest ocean.
Is that Ro?
It's Ro.
Hey, Ro!
Hey, who's that?
That's C. Long.
Yeah, what up, buddy?
I'm glad that plane didn't crash.
Oh, man.
Love you.
What, I was fucking praying for it.
What was the
Jesus.
play-by-play?
It was, I think, from like Philly or Charlotte to Charlottesville. It was a pretty quick flight. It was a small flight, and that's really, I think, where we really ran into some problems. Very intimate seating. I had a window seat. You were in the aisle. I believe there was a pilot either across the aisle from you or like just behind you.
Behind.
And I don't know, it probably started 20 minutes after takeoff. I don't even know that I smelled it initially. I just felt the shaking from the rattling of the seat because you were laughing so hard. And then it hit me, and you just kept, it was like a steady stream. I think at one point the pilot maybe kicked your seat.
Yeah, he hit it. Yeah.
Because I was crumpling up against the window with all my might. Like if I could have gone out to the wing at that point in time, I think I would have been safer out there.
That's insane, dude.
Predatoring myself against the side of the plane, just trying to disappear.
I had gas.
What'd you eat?
I don't know. My Edward Jones Dome stuff.
Dog.
Is that worse than eating on the plane, Beau?
It was brutal.
Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad seat, man.
If your stomach was upset and you were like sick and it was an actual issue, I think maybe you would have even garnered some sympathy. But the fact that you were laughing, that it was rattling the fucking bolts beneath my feet.
I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my god, dude! That's what made it fucking. I think that's what really got people pissed at you.
The guy, like, it had to have been this part of his hand just hit my seat as hard as he could because I had poots.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
To just be that guy.
What makes you think of this glorious flight?
Oh, we're going around the room talking about worst flights ever.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that's not yours because you were having the time of your fucking life.
Yeah, he was good. There's no remorse there.
It certainly was the worst flight for, 32 other people.
Okay, thank you. You're live to tape on the Green Light Pod, by the way.
Oh, lovely. Well, I'm getting ready to go to the Core Christmas party. It's a little plug for the business.
We'll cut that.
There we
go.
Thanks. There we go. One time we hit a flock of geese. These are not made up. They're just coming to me late. And it took out an engine on our team plane. Guy said
Engine 1,
thought it
2,
was a
3, or
Cessna.
4.
I don't know. How many engines are there? 4?
Usually 4, I think.
So we were
Larger
working at
flight.
75% the last 50 miles. I don't know. Going into St. Louis. Yeah.
50 miles.
Did you know you were down an engine when you were in the air?
No, I'm bad at math. It wasn't 50 miles, maybe 5 miles. I'm thinking the plane's going super fast. Say again?
I said, did you know you were down an engine when you were in the air?
No, we hit we felt a big bump, and I was sitting there with William Hayes, and he used to make fun of me because I was afraid, but he was scared shitless. Like it was that kind of bump, and the flight attendants looked a little concerned, and when we landed, the pilot came back and told us that he wasn't sure if he hit a small plane.
Jesus Christ.
What?
Like a tiny plane, like a fucking one of these, one dude, yeah.
Holy
I'm not sure if
shit.
I committed aeronautical manslaughter.
Yeah, it's at that point he's like, well, better you than me, right? It could be 300 fucking people, man. What are you doing in my airspace? Roger Goodell told the Wall Street Journal that the league is considering adding a second Black Friday game. But there's a Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. It's a law that prohibits broadcasting games on Friday nights and Saturdays between the second Friday in September and the second Saturday in December, but only within 75 miles of high school or college football games. So that's basically everywhere, right?
Yeah.
You know that law, right? I figured if anybody knew it, probably
What
be
does
you.
that mean?
It basically
dumb that down for
protects
me?
high school and college sports from pro sports.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they
So
can't do it.
they can't do a Black Friday night game.
Wait. What's the ramifications you just said?
Violating the
But wasn't
Sports Broadcasting Law Act of 1961.
But you said, is there a mile radius you can't do it
Within 75 miles of a high school or college
in the U.S.
game, yeah.
International. Here we go.
I know, that's what I was thinking. No, but it's not about where the game's played.
Canada.
I was doing the same thing, but it's not about where the game's played.
Oh.
It's about broadcast. You can't get into your house if you live within. So the only people.
YouTube, right? Isn't that on YouTube?
Well,
now?
that would still be a broadcast.
Yeah. YouTube TV now is how we watch TV.
But
That's
it's
my
just a
TV.
live stream. Is a live stream considered a broadcast nowadays? Maybe?
I think
No?
so.
It's all the same, bro.
I guess it is all the same.
It's content.
So they can only do one. So only one game is allowed as of now.
Yes.
Roger,
But you
Goodell,
could
they're
do
gonna
two
fuck
if you
with it.
started the first one at 10 a.m. or noon. Would you say yes as a
do.
fan, as a consumer?
Noon would be kind of
Hell
fun.
yeah.
We wake up for
No.
9.
Dude, I had a hard time waiting till Eagles,
Yeah.
Bears.
Yeah,
It felt
I mean,
all day. I was like,
It's- oh,
with
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
everybody's in
yeah.
town.
Oh,
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
in town. There's a lot of what are we doing?
And then
If a
Amazon.
football game's on,
College
It's
football.
actually kind of
Yeah.
sickening thinking about how much Amazon just is making money because all the football game was on Amazon. It's honestly, if you don't want to leave your house on Black Friday, you get all your shopping done while watching the game, seeing all the ads,
Yeah.
all on
I
Amazon,
don't know.
just right there for you.
It's a monopoly.
Yeah, and then just like you said, people aren't really going out. There are people going out and waiting online for deals and stuff on Black Friday. But even if you do that, realistically, you're up early as hell. So noon is perfect.
Noon's perfect.
It's perfect.
You know who's mad though
Start.
about this?
Oh, the
Best Buy and brick and mortar.
but they're not really because online deals for everybody.
People
man.
aren't going to be buying DVDs. They're going to be watching Saints Panthers. Black Friday, man. And guess what? We'd all be fucking sitting there.
Yeah, we would.
That's how pathetic we are.
I didn't know about that law, but that makes total sense because I was sitting there Friday, why isn't this a full day of NFL football?
Dude,
Just
yeah,
the day
you're-
before.
You're like
Yeah.
a dog standing at the door.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I saw a squirrel. No squirrel till 4:00. I really had trouble. Yeah, it's tough. I would say yes. There you go. There she is. Okay. Nate, you see this woman?
Yeah.
She said this is fucking bullshit or that's fucking bullshit, right? Is that what she says? We're up 33-19, by the way. Yo, dog, it's 33-19. We're cruising. I'm watching this game in the Caribbean, I think. This is one of those that I'm like, I remember this one. This woman's famous in my eyes. She was at my charity dinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look at the picture, Nate. Here it comes.
That game ended 40-29 Eagles. That was 2021 Jalen Hurts' first.
Yeah,
start.
dude. We're up 2 touchdowns, bro.
She looks like somebody. I'm not going to say it right now.
That's fucking bullshit, dude. She was awesome, dude. She was so cool. Very civil. Like, not like she is in the GIFs. She was in IRL, dude.
She flips the switch come game time.
Oh, yeah, dude. She's been out in the parking lot. She's from K9 Lot, dude.
Mary Kate.
You know K9 Lot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Kate Mink.
Shout out to the Macoids
Best.
in the K9 Lot. My favorite thing I ever did in or around that stadium was catching Joe's brother from a fall where he fell off the top of an RV and literally took no skill, but it almost threw my back out, and he might have died. And so I'm very proud of that moment. I make sure to bring it up wherever I am when I get around those K9 people. Shout out to the lady in the GIF.
Mary Kay Mink.
Yep, Miss Mink. Take care.